What's your synopsis of the season so far?
I would say it felt like there was definitely a change at the start of the season to try and maybe get away from being as defensive as we have been in the previous two seasons. But I think that was then to the detriment of the defensive side. You know, we've conceded a ridiculous amount of shots. The amount of saves the goalkeepers are having to make is up there alongside the teams right at the bottom. And they've struggled in that sense. But then I think the games I've seen, and it feels like it's very much a David Moyes way, which is you'll get 10 to 20 minutes in every game where you go, wow, we look fantastic for those 10 to 20 minutes where we'll probably score, we'll look really strong, we'll create chances. And in those 20 minutes, I've really enjoyed what I've seen from the forward players. But then obviously a lot of the game is sitting back and looking to counter-attack, which at times can be a tough watch.
Yeah,
Dave,
and obviously,
can I ask you on the back of that then? When you watch the difference between, say, West Ham and other teams just now, if you're playing in this current team, Dean, and you're getting an opportunity after opportunity to score goals, do you, as a player, look at the way that West Ham play for the full 90 minutes, or do you think of it's a results game and right now West Ham are 7th, we're in the quarterfinals of the Europa League, we've just won something last year? Like, what is it that, in your opinion, the player, from your experience, would go through with that?
I'd hate it as a player. I would, because I wouldn't be involved very much. Yeah. I would rely on sporadic breaks. I think as the forward player, you've got to be really patient and wait for those tiny opportunities. You've got to work hard on your own, which was something I didn't particularly enjoy and didn't really thrive upon, which is why I think I didn't play as much under Kirbishley as I wanted to, because he wanted to play that lone striker role, and it's a very difficult role to play. So I wouldn't have enjoyed it, but the results are there. You can't hide the fact that we qualified for Europe. We've won a European trophy. We're up there at the top half of the table, pushing for European places once again. You know, you can't hide those facts. They're there. But but the fact that there's such a split in terms of the fan base is because when you go week in, week out, you do watch the opposition have probably 60 to 65% of the possession for most of the game. So that isn't easy. That isn't easy to watch. It's not easy to probably play in as a forward, but we've got such good forward players. When we get it right, we look fantastic.
Yeah, totally. And obviously, on that basis, we play Newcastle at the end of this international break. I think, as West Ham fans, we've never liked the international break since you were involved. In all honesty, I hate the internationals. But Newcastle, massive game, obviously, for this fight for European places. Newcastle themselves, they've got obviously a lot of injuries. How do you think we'll get on again at St James's Park Saturday, 12:30 kickoff? I mean, how do you think we're going to get on against them?
I think both teams are in a similar position in terms of they're really pushing for a bit of consistency and looking to sort of keep pushing. I'm actually up there as well for the game for radio, so I'm looking forward to it because the atmosphere is always pretty special up there. But I think this is again the type of game that David Moyes won't be fearful of. He knows he can go there, sit back, defend, soak up the pressure from Newcastle, who are missing some of their forward players. They're maybe not as sharp as they have been at the top end of the pitch, and know that as long as everybody's fit and comes through, that now he's got kind of a full complement to choose from in terms of that forward line. I would expect Antonio to start again, who's actually looked, I think, pretty good in the last two games and frees up the other players. So I expect it to be probably an attempt at a smash and grab.
Dean, on Antonio, then, you know, I'm intrigued to hear what your kind of thoughts are on Antonio as a kind of, you know, not a natural born striker, but has grown into the role over the years, and still now, years later in West Ham shirt, West Ham rely heavily on him leading the line again. You know, what's your kind of thoughts on Antonio?
I got a huge amount of respect for him because of the way he plays that role. And I know how difficult that role is, and he's unapologetic in the way that he plays it. in terms of the work that he's willing to put in wide areas, which I'd want absolutely nothing to do with, because I'd want to be in the box and I'd want to be in and around where it matters. And I think he's willing to do all that other stuff that other players don't want to do, or can't do it as well as he can, and occupy two centre backs. Is he technically the best player? No, but he's worked on it. He's tried to improve. Is he going to score multiple goals? Is he going to get you off your seat and maybe score something spectacular? Probably not. But I tell you what, he plays that role so well. And I bet if you asked all the other players if they wanted him in the side, they would say yes, especially the other forward players, because he does all that other unselfish work for other players to kind of get the glory, I think. So he's an important player, but it's amazing how many other players have come in and he's embarrassed them, because his work rate levels, the others can't get to. The Skamakas who have come in, those type of players. Haller even came in and he embarrassed them because the work he put in, they weren't able to match it.
Yeah, exactly. And if I'm led to believe, Dino, you're putting the boots back on soon, or in May, for the DT38 charity match. Is that right? Is Dino coming back on?
Yes, it is. It is. Yeah. Obviously, it's an amazing cause, of course. And when Jimmy Walker gives you the nod, it's very, very difficult. Very difficult to refuse, Jimmy.
Yes.
So yeah, I will be. I don't do it very often, I've got to admit. I've probably played 5 times since I've retired, I think. So it is pretty rare that I'll come out. But I said to Jimmy, I said I can't run.
Yeah.
And he said same as always. So I was like, perfect.
Did he mention he saved the penalty against Frank Lampard? I don't know if he did. Apparently he did. Apparently he did. I don't know. But
apparently he's dined out on it for about a whole career. Is what he's done.
Has not bought a drink in Essex since. I
No.
guarantee.